I would say that I'm a person that has thought a lot about life. I mean, I felt like, at least when I was younger, I had a lot of adversity growing up in inner city Baltimore, where my mom really wasn't around, my dad wasn't around, and so, which wasn't unusual, by the way, in inner city Baltimore. But just because of that, I thought, I felt myself at a very young age, quite, thinking about God and man's search for meaning. I was doing all those things younger than I think a lot of kids do, maybe at 9 and 10, and I was always writing. I was writing at a young age, around 8, 9. I was just writing like poetry, and I was making songs about my friends and things like that, like almost like sitcom jingles, like 30-second songs. So those things came very natural, just thinking a lot, this obsession with religion and philosophy. And then I remember at a young age, an obsession with martial arts, like Bruce Lee movies, Rocky movies, professional wrestling, and all these things. What's interesting about that is that for most of us, I think, whatever we are best at, whatever our gifts, they usually surface young. If you go and look at anybody who winds up building some empire, whether it be high tech or whatever, there's usually, you can see young, not just talent, but you can see very specifically an inclination towards certain things. So in my case, I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I've competed at a very high level, and you could see that at age 8 or 9. I was watching ABC's, Wide World of Boxing every weekend. So just for me, I wind up being a philosophy major. I wind up being a journalist, questioning people, very curious. And I think that those things, now I do some public relations consulting, but I think that what I'm really passionate about are telling people stories, writing, speaking, and even teaching, sharing the martial arts with other people. Because I tell a story that when I was younger, so I actually took one journalism class, and I took it a junior year in high school, and the teacher's name was Miss Matson. I won't say her first name, but she failed me. I got an F in that class, and I never took another journalism class again. And it wasn't until my junior year of college at the University of Maryland when an English professor took me aside and said, "My husband is a journalist for the Baltimore Sun, and I really like your writing, and you should write for our school newspaper." Now, the reason that stands out is that no one in the 16 years of schooling prior had ever made that remark. Nobody had said to me and validated, "You're a really good writer. You're pretty good." I had always been doing it when I was young, but I was always scared to test that theory. I was scared to put that to a test. I didn't want someone else, some authority, to say, "Look, I want to be a writer," and they say, "Well, you're actually not that good. You failed high school journalism, remember?" So I just started to think even more now, like when I'm teaching kids with jiu-jitsu, I'm like, how does a kid like me, who had a lot of talent, I won quite a few journalism awards, went to the White House on assignment. I covered a lot of, sometimes big stories in newspapers. I worked at a TV station. I was a correspondent for Ultimate Fighting Championship. I got to do some really cool things, travel the world. Went to the White House a couple of times on assignment, like I said. So how does somebody like that fall through the cracks and just doesn't know it and doesn't feel confident in it until a professor comes and says it? And then if it happens to me, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. These kids that have all these gifts, and they just fall right through the cracks, just like I almost did. I don't know, but for that comment, but for her planting that seed, I don't know that I would have ever went into journalism and walked into that life, which changed my life.